Rick, thanks so much for the many decades of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's get it to the finish line with at least a couple of these things. Until next time. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, actually, so what we didn't mention specifically was this long-term vision of a world of net zero trauma by 2070. So, what is the finish line? What is success? So for me, the real issue is humanity is like lemmings going over a cliff. We're destroying the planet. We're the mass extinctions. We see just in the last few days, these hurricanes that have never been so strong. There's so much danger with nuclear proliferation, totalitarianism, that people are motivated in the U.S. on their fears and anxieties. Trump and others are really trying to use the base emotions to get people to hate other people and to use that to build support. So what we need is this mass mental health and by a spiritualized humanity. What I mean by that is people understand, similar to what a lot of the astronauts are seeing, is that we're all part of one community.
6.5 hours later.
So net zero trauma means that we're not adding to the burden of trauma as a whole. It doesn't mean there's no trauma. There'll always be trauma.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Once we reach net zero, then we can start reducing the total burden. But I think over the next 10, 20 years, humanity is going to be under even more stress than they are now, with the consequences of having ignored climate change for so long. There's an estimate of over 1 billion climate refugees potentially by 2050. That's going to destabilize Europe, destabilize countries.
Many unbearable hours later.
This idea of net zero trauma, I developed it when I thought, of course, that Lycos was going to succeed.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So I just want to add that kind of as a sort of concluding thought too, that what we're about is not just MDMA. We're about bringing psychedelic medicine, and we're not just about it in pharmaceutical, financially remunerative ways. We're also about drug policy reform. And so I think we just got to keep in mind that we're in a crisis, and the wise use of psychedelics can be profoundly helpful for that.
Amen.